Tony, hop in.
Where we going?
We're going to have a little chat with the mayor's assistant about Franco Forelli.
Hey! Get off my boat!
You're coming with me.
You can't do this!
Hurry it up, the Secret Service will be watching.
So now that we have the mayor's assistant in our possession, we can go about doing this mission. And this mission is just a giant on-rails segment that involves us taking on a giant swarm of Secret Service agents. And the way I've always viewed on-rails segments in any video game is that they're usually a bit tricky to do the first time around because you don't necessarily know where the enemies are going to be spawning at, or in the case of Grand Theft Auto games, you don't necessarily know where those explosive barrels are going to be at because they pop up in just about every on-rails segment mission in these games. So they're not always important to hit. Like with this first barrel that we're going to be seeing, there's just one guy standing next to it, so it's not a big deal, unless you want to take him out, you know, on a nice dinner date to Denny's or something. But you know, it's like that barrel wasn't really that important, but this barrel right here takes out a good chunk of enemies. I mean, he had some fellas in the boat and some fellas standing on the pier, and by shooting that barrel, you take them all out at the same time, and it's some fantastic stuff going on right there. But either way, you don't know necessarily where the enemies are going to be at or those explosive barrels, so there's a lot of reaction involved your first time around. But once you have that first completion under your belt, you know, it becomes easy because you know exactly where everything is going to be located at. There's never that element of randomness in these on-rail Grand Theft Auto missions. You know, it's not like you're going to have moments where a group of enemies spawns in this corner instead of that corner, or maybe they spawn over there instead of over here, and that shot is beautiful, by the way. I mean, that sun in the background shining bright gives you some Vice City vibes, honestly, and that's some good stuff.
The mayor wouldn't take a shit without Franco say so.
Nobody owned the mayor. Ah! Wait! You're right! It's those Sicilians! They pushed Franco into it.
The Sicilians? Why?
They own Franco, and they want a war between the Liberty families. When the dust settles, they're coming to take over.
Tony, I'll call you later. Right now I'm gonna flush this turd into the bay.
So you have some pretty important plot stuff going on there, as well as a lot of pee. I mean, you know, Salvatore's mentioning turds, so I guess that kind of goes hand in hand. But the idea is that you see that the Sicilians have a lot of influence over a lot of factions in Liberty City because you have the Forellis influenced into starting this war between the families.
Yo.
Tony, Sal, listen, head over to the public phone booth in Torrington. We need to talk. On the way, I want you to see an associate of mine, and that's Patria. He's going to help us pile the pressure on the Sindacos and the Forelli.
So with that phone call, we've now completed this mission, and I've got to say I'm a big fan of on-rail sequences in Grand Theft Auto games. They tend to be very hot and heavy, you know, they get the blood flowing in all the right places, because they tend to give you a pretty awesome gun to use during the segment. But either way, that completes this part. In the next part, we'll be doing Salvatore's next mission, which is called Search and Rescue. So until then, I will see you next time.